It is time to bring in our State House insiders tonight. Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist, Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist. It's the Insiders Inside the Car edition apparently this week, and that's fine as both our insiders are traveling. All right, let's get reaction to last night's State of the State address by Governor McMaster. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Big thing the governor put out there last night was $50,000 a year for a starting teacher income. That is a huge step forward because it actually takes teacher income out of the lower brackets and actually makes us one of the highest paid states in the Southeast. That's a real important thing because we've got to understand right now that that level of recruitment and that level of teachers, what we're going to need to be able to have in South Carolina if we want to see the economic growth that we've been seeing over the last 10 to 15 years continue.
Well, congratulations to Governor McMaster, officially the longest serving governor in our state's history. I think that's a big accomplishment, whether you're Democrat or Republican. You know, we heard a number of things from the governor. Some I agree with, some I did not hear. Some things I did not hear that I wanted to hear. While teacher pay, yes, is a big issue, but we need to make certain that we're funding our schools and minimally adequate is no longer the standard. We need to make sure that public dollars are not used to fund private education. We need to make certain that rural communities are lifted up and not continued left behind. We need economic development in communities that have traditionally been left out, left behind. And certainly we heard from him on the energy front as South Carolina continues to lead the charge in terms of growth, not just population-wise, but thanks to the Biden-Harris administration, we've become the battery capital of the world, and renewable energy companies continue to relocate to South Carolina. So how do we create job opportunities for the next generation and also just making basic living in South Carolina affordable? If you live on the coast or in some cases in the Midlands, you're priced out of buying a home. And so I hope that the governor, along with a Republican-led General Assembly, will do things to do the basic blocking and tackling that will make the people in Swansea, Woodford, and North, and the people I grew up with in the towns that I travel around South Carolina, make them experience the South Carolina growth that other parts are experiencing.
We're seeing a lot of that growth going on right now, JR. And one of the biggest things about that, and to Antoine's point, is the fact that we're creating a higher and higher demand on energy right now. And there's a big push right now to decide whether or not they're going to turn around and sell to private investors the VC Summer 2 and 3 reactors that we talked about 7 years ago that went defunct to the price tag of $9.1 billion. And so that is a huge thing because energy folks are telling us right now we are edging towards a crisis if we don't start coming up with a plan for something to make sure that we've got enough power for South Carolina for the years to come.
And look, I would have been pleased to hear from the governor about a plan to continue to pay our state employees what they're worth, including those who actually work to make government work in South Carolina. I would have been pleased to hear how we can talk about raising wages in the state to keep up with all the growth we're experiencing. How do we create opportunities to make certain that not only our teachers are funded, but they're protected? And there's so many things I did not hear from the governor, but from some of the things I did hear, I can say with a true bipartisan spirit, I was pleased with some, but certainly there is a void on some things that I would have wanted to hear.
All right, I want to touch on something that was talked about last night in the Democratic response, and a lot of reference made to that $1.8 billion mysterious account, money that really wasn't in an account. Somewhere along the way, Dave, I heard that this money was earning interest. Who said that and when?
Treasurer Curtis Loftus told under oath to a Senate committee that that fund had raised $220 million. And so you've got several senators right now, the lead of those, Larry Grooms out of Berkeley County, who is hot and heavy right now on the fact that he has been told there were $220 million under oath by our state treasurer, and that money didn't even exist. So there's a lot of question going on right now. And the fact that Curtis Loftus, out of him, the Comptroller General, and the Inspector General, he's the only one of those folks left from the time period when these transactions and this movement of money took place years ago, when we were changing payment systems for the state. And so a lot of the buck right now, whether he likes it or not, is falling on Curtis Loftus.
Look, that's a Republican problem. I think Republicans need to deal with their elected officials. My Republican friends love to say that we want to run government like a business. If this were the private sector, he would have been fired a long time ago. I think the people of South Carolina are owed not only an apology, but some sort of explanation. And certainly when you lie under oath, that has its own consequences. That's not a partisan discussion. That's just the fact of the matter. And quite frankly, if this were a Democrat doing anything close to this, Republicans would be calling not only for them to not be in the office, but they would be calling for them to experience some jail time and all these other extreme things that we see from Republicans when they act as if they are above the law in many cases. So I hope that Republican intensity will apply this case to the treasurer and others who may be involved.
All right, for his role in this, for his part in this, Curtis Loftus, the state treasurer, maintaining he has done nothing wrong. He's not stepping down. He says he's not running for re-election next year. Quickly, we only have about 30, 40 seconds left. I'll begin with Antoine. President Trump's first week in office, what's your analysis?
Disgusting.
That's it?
That's it.
I think he turned around and said he was going to start doing some stuff. He's actually doing it. Some of his policies, though, are going to end up impacting a lot of people and a lot of the businesses that are in South Carolina. Because when you start talking about immigration and you talk about migrant workers, those fields out there in Lexington County and Saluda County and out there in Swansea, some of them are not going to have the workers that are out there that they're needed. And that's going to really hurt business sometimes.
All right. Dave, Antoine, guys, as usual, thank you so very much.